The third vision. Now after this I wept again and fasted 7 days as before, in order to complete the 3 weeks as I had been told. And on the 8th night my heart was troubled within me again, and I began to speak in the presence of the Most High, for my spirit was greatly aroused, and my soul was in distress. God's work in creation. I said, O Lord, you spoke at the beginning of creation and said on the first day, Let heaven and earth be made, and your word accomplished the work. And then the Spirit was hovering, and darkness and silence embraced everything. The sound of man's voice was not yet there. Then you commanded that a ray of light be brought forth from your treasuries, so that your works might then appear. Again, on the second day, you created the spirit of the firmament, and commanded him to divide and separate the waters, that one part might move upward and the other part remain beneath. On the third day you commanded the waters to be gathered together in the 7th part of the earth. 6 parts you dried up and kept, so that some of them might be planted and cultivated and be of service before you. For your word went forth, and at once the work was done. For immediately fruit came forth in endless abundance, and of varied appeal to the taste, and flowers of inimitable color, and odors of inexpressible fragrance. These were made on the 3rd day. On the 4th day you commanded the brightness of the sun, the light of the moon, and the arrangement of the stars to come into being, and you commanded them to serve man, who was about to be formed. On the 5th day you commanded the 7th part, where the water had been gathered together, to bring forth living creatures, birds, and fishes, and so it was done. The dumb and lifeless water produced living creatures, as it was commanded, that thereafter the nations might declare thy wondrous works. Then you kept in existence 2 living creatures, the name of one you called Behemoth, and the name of the other Leviathan, and you separated one from the other. For the 7th part, where the water had been gathered together, could not hold them both, and you gave Behemoth one of the parts which had been dried up on the 3rd day, to live in it, where there are 1,000 mountains. But to Leviathan you have the 7th part, the watery part, and you have kept them to be eaten by whom you wish, and when you wish. On the 6th day you commanded the earth to bring forth before you cattle, beasts, and creeping things, and over these you placed Adam as ruler over all the works which you had made, and from him we have all come, the people from whom you have chosen. Why does Israel not possess her inheritance? All this I have spoken before you, O Lord, because you have said that it was for us that you created the world, and for the other nations which have descended from Adam, you have said that they are nothing, and that they are like spittle, and you have compared their abundance to a drop from a bucket. And now, O Lord, behold these nations, which are reputed as nothing, domineer over us, and devour us. But we, your people, whom you have called your firstborn, only begotten, zealous for you, and most dear, have been given into their hands. If the world has indeed been created for us, why do we not possess our world as an inheritance? How long will this be so? Response to Ezra's questions. When I had finished speaking these words, the angel who had been sent to me on the former nights was sent to me again, and he said to me, Rise, Ezra, and listen to the words that I have come to speak to you. I said, Speak, my Lord. And he said to me, There is a sea set in a wide expanse so that it is broad and vast, but it has an entrance set in a narrow place, so that it is like a river. If anyone then wishes to reach the sea, to look at it or to navigate it, how can he come to the broad part unless he passes through the narrow part? Another example. There is a city built and set on a plain, and it is full of all good things, but the entrance to it is narrow and set in a precipitous place, so that there is fire on the right hand and deep water on the left, and there is only one path lying between them, that is, between the fire and the water, so that only one man can walk upon that path. If now that city is given to a man for an inheritance, how will the heir receive his inheritance unless he passes through the danger set before him? I said, He cannot, Lord. And he said to me, So also is Israel's portion. For I have made the world for their sake, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, what had been made was judged, And so the entrances of this world were made narrow and sorrowful and toilsome. They are few and evil, full of dangers and involved in great hardships. But the entrances of the greater world are broad and safe, and really yield the fruit of immortality. Therefore, unless the living pass through the difficult and vain experiences, they can never receive those things that have been reserved for them. But now, why are you disturbed, seeing that you are to perish? And why are you moved, seeing that you are mortal? And why have you not considered in your mind what is to come, rather than what is now present? Then I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, behold, you have ordained in your law that the righteous shall inherit these things, but that the ungodly shall perish. The righteous therefore can endure difficult circumstances while hoping for easier ones. But those who have done wickedly have suffered the difficult circumstances and will not see the evil. He said to me, You are not a better judge than God, or wiser than the Most High. Let many perish who are now living, rather than that the law of God, which is set before them, be disregarded. For God strictly commanded those who came into the world, when they came, what they should do to live, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient, and spoke against him. They devised for themselves vain thoughts, and proposed to themselves wicked frauds, and they even declared that the Most High does not exist, and they ignored his ways. They scorned his law and denied his covenants. They have been unfaithful to his statutes and have not performed his works. Therefore, Ezra, empty things are for the empty, and full things are for the full. The temporary messianic kingdom and the end of the world. For behold, the time will come when the signs which I have foretold to you will come to pass. The city which is not seen shall appear, and the land which is now hidden shall be disclosed. And everyone who has been delivered from the evils that I have foretold shall see my wonders. For my Son, the Messiah, shall be revealed with those who are with him, and those who remain shall rejoice 400 years. And after these years my Son, the Messiah, shall die, and all who draw human breath. And the world shall be turned back to primeval silence for 7 days, as it was at the first beginnings, so that no one shall be left. And after 7 days the world which is not yet awake shall be roused, and that which is corruptible shall perish. And the earth shall give up those who are asleep in it, and the chambers shall give up the souls which have been committed to them. And the Most High shall be revealed upon the seat of judgment, and compassion shall pass away, and patience shall be withdrawn, but judgment alone shall remain. Truth shall stand, and faithfulness shall grow strong, and recompense shall follow, and the reward shall be manifested. Righteous deeds shall awake, and unrighteous deeds shall not sleep. Then the pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest, and the furnace of hell shall be disclosed, and opposite it the paradise of delight. Then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, Look now and understand whom you have denied, and whom you have not served, whose commandments you have despised. Look on this side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars, or cloud or thunder or lightning or wind or water or air or darkness or morning or evening, or summer or spring or heat or winter, or frost or cold, or hail or rain or dew, or noon or night, or dawn or shining or brightness or light, but only the splendor of the glory of the Most High, by which all shall see what has been determined for them. For it will last about a week of years. This is my judgment, and its prescribed order, and to you alone I have shown these things. The small number of the saved. I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, I said then, I say now, blessed are those who are alive and keep your commandments. But what of those for whom I prayed? For who among the living is there that has not sinned? Or who among men that has not transgressed your covenant? And now I see that the world will come to bring delight to few, but torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from God, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life, and that not just a few of us, but almost all who have been created,